I would like to start with Mrs. Gro Harlem Brundtland, who mentioned or who created knowledge about sustainable development in 1987, and it was taken up in the occasion of Rio 1992. So her concept is that if you intend to, this one, so if you intend to develop, then you must sacrifice the environment. And if you sustain the environment, then you must stop development. So this is some kind of a contradiction between development environment. So at this 1992, the possible situation is this area. But she said the science and technology for us, we can move this line to this one. So development plus, environment plus. So we must find that. The science and technology can do. That is what Brundtland said. So 20 years ago, we have some kind of a request. Scientists have got some requests from her. So I would like to try to make some answer to her. I don't know if it will be successful or not, but I will say something about that. So next one is, yes, okay. So this is, let me start with the traditional science. Why I say about sustainability science? And sustainability science is a little bit different from the traditional science. So I call this as normal science. So in normal science, this is, this is the purpose of science in a long time, maybe 1,000 years or 2,000 years. I think the scientists are always trying to find some basic or universal laws existing behind various phenomena we observe. So observation is the first, but normally scientists analyze phenomena and then find out the truth behind that. By truth, I mean that, for example, Newton's dynamics law is a very universal rule which manage all the phenomena, mechanical phenomena in the universe. So I think he found a very universal principle which is existing behind the phenomena. So then, I think a scientist trying to find the truth behind phenomena in their laboratory, and they have just concentrate their own interest to a very narrow area to find out the truth. And when they find some kind of truth, they write down scientific papers, and they throw the paper towards the society. So those scientists are not interested in what kind of things are happening within society, but he or she is only interested in to find out the truth. So many truths comes from the laboratory to the society, and there are some people out in the society who utilize those knowledge to make new products or artifacts. So the results is like that. So scientists created many truths, and each truth will make some kind of a new artifact. So I think the prosperity of society has been established by applying science to make artifacts. Economically, prosperous society has been developed. But maybe at this moment, there are too many artifacts, no more space. That's another point. So I think what I would like to say, the rich society was realized by abundant products, each of which is dependent on scientific knowledge of relevant discipline. Various disciplines, various artifacts. And then, what is the motivation of scientists for their study, for their research? Maybe many of them are motivated by conquering some kind of enemies attacked human beings long historical time. So, for example, storm, drought, flood, earthquake, they are, enemies to human beings. And if humankind were beaten by them, they could not survive. So they tried to fight against that. So there are threats from nature, And these are disease, vermin, they are threats from animals, living things, and pirates, burglar, tyrant, wicked desire. They are something very bad enemies within human beings. And poverty is some kind of the enemy which is existing within society. And of course, fears of unknowns. This is especially very special threats for scientists. Scientists wish to know everything. When there is something unknown, it can be a very big motivation for them to start research. So these are I would like to say, past evils. And through conquering or overcoming these evils, I think the reason why they could survive is that they conquered those evils. But not only conquering those evils, but they created some knowledge how to conquer when next time they meet the same thing. So the history of conquering, history of overcome those things, means that they accumulated a lot of knowledge. That is scientific knowledge. So I think, for example, this is the creation of scientific disciplines. No, scientific disciplines. And for example, maybe Socrates is a very famous Greek person, and he was blamed. Then he resisted to, by speech, he resisted to deny the blaming people. But if you look into the detail of his speech, there are many important system of logics. But of course, there was no discipline at the time of logics, but it is the origin of logics. A long time after logics, we have developed, of course, this is a science discipline logics, but logics now is the most important fundamental concept of computer. Of course, Socrates didn't intend anything how to make computers at the time, but after 2,000 years, more than 2,000 years, I think modern people could successfully make such kind of thing. So the fights against those things created scientific disciplines. So that is some kind of the history of human beings. Now, but the enemies are diversified, various. So the disciplines are diversified. And the problem is that there's no connection, systematic connection between disciplines. So I think, the next one is better. So real world is divided into these engineering science, medical science, etc., etc. So I think and also they make some special professional people. When someone learns engineering science, they become engineers. Especially they are divided into more detail, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, etc., etc. And because of the lack of good connection between them, maybe worsening of natural environment by human actions without cooperation between disciplines. And in the case of medical doctors, local diagnosis without recognition of whole human. If you go to the surgery, they are treated by surgeon. If you go to some kind of a psychiatrist, then you are treated by psychology. So you must be very careful which doctor you will choose. So I think this kind of division of disciplines make division of professionals. And so what is the integration of knowledge? This is a very important thing. And so this is a very simple example. Mechanical engineering made motor car, electrical engineering telephone, and finally they become the mobile telephone. But in Japan, you are strongly prohibited to use the mobile phone when you are driving because it is dangerous. It means motor car and mobile phone cannot coexist. It's terrible. Both of are very good results of modern technology, but we cannot utilize them at the same concurrently. So it is absolutely because of the division of discipline. So such kind of artifacts have been very strongly divided, and no integration has been made. And then, that is a result. So we have conquered the past evils, but now we are now faced the modern evils. For example, global warming is a typical one, and worsen, that is new diseases or population explosion of starvation, cleavage between the rich and poor, poverty in the megacity, etc., etc. So when we face these modern evils, we cannot identify the visible enemies in front of us. Perhaps the enemies lurk behind our intentional action and attack us before we notice them. It is more difficult to fight against them. So sustainability problem is exactly this type of thing. This phase is very important when you consider about sustainability, or if we try to develop sustainability science, it is very important for us to think about this point. And for example, if you look at the subject of necessary subject in order to make a high sustainability, sustainable society, it is necessary to cope with those things. For example, peace and governance, human security, preventive medicine, conservation of biodiversity. They are the typical one, but there are many, many kinds of subjects to be solved in order to realize sustainability. Then, if you pick up each subject and who can cope with, which kind of scientists can cope with this? Unfortunately, I must tell you that exactly no single discipline can cope with them. It is necessary for scientists to be integrated. The group of different disciplines is essential to cope with them. For example, peace and governance, of course, it is a matter of nations, but not only politics, but economy, technology, many diversified disciplines must work together in order to accomplish the peace and governance. And in the case of biodiversity, maybe natural science and social science is important. Human security, politics, natural science, etc. So we can forget about the division of disciplines. It is quite necessary. And divisions is, of course, very useful to promote the progress of science. But unfortunately, we have not been interested or aware about the relationship between disciplines. That is the biggest fault of the scientific knowledge. So sustainability science, most important thing is, I would like to say, collaboration. It's quite a normal word, but collaboration of different disciplines. But unfortunately, if you look at the science world, it is very difficult for two different scientists from different disciplines to collaborate. I don't know why, but practically it is very difficult. So this is a proposal of the sustainability science, which I've tried to do that. And this is very complicated, so I have not much time to explain, but aim of research and object of research, the observation and truth verification, result of research, and practical. They are characteristics of science. But each of these items, the normal science and sustainability science, has different aspects. Just one thing I would like to say. For example, the truth verification is one of the most important activity for scientists to find out the truth in the normal science. So experiments might be most important. Of course, logical operation, etc. But experiments will provide us with the evidence to support scientific theory. So experiment is most important. But in the case of sustainability science, we cannot make any experiments. It may take, for example, 100 years, 1,000 years. So if we discuss about the global warming, how can we make an experiment? If you make some experiment, yes, Earth becomes 200 degrees centigrade, it's okay. But the other time, no human being can survive. So I think experiment is impossible in the case of sustainability. So we must look into the very slow change of the phenomena. That is evolution, I would like to say. So what I would like to say, this kind of system is necessary. Such kind of a one way, they just write scientific papers, throw it away into society, that system you should forget about that. And this kind of a loop must be very essential for that. So there are observing scientists, this is a physicist or social scientist, etc., designing scientists, they are engineering scientists, etc., and also actors. Actors are in society, statesmen, policymakers, etc., etc., and also including general public. Or those people acting, dependent, just utilizing the knowledge of science. And that action will make some kind of influence to the nature of society. Then the change should be observed by scientists. Unfortunately, this part is exactly cut, and there's no loop, there's no path from here to there. Very few scientists were studying about the slow change of the Earth. Now, many scientists to that. That is called the sustainability science. But then, I think this group is now slowly being built up. But unfortunately, if you look at the university, at least in Japan, the collaboration between the Department of Natural Science and Department of Engineering Scientists are not so successful. They are rather not friendly. They are insisting we are the king, etc. So I think the collaboration is not good. And of course, this one, it is a collaboration between science and society. So industry, university, society, very often we talk about this point, but it is not so easy to realize. So I think this is not yet well established. But I think it is quite necessary in order to develop the sustainability science. This kind of loop should be the main field where the knowledge is created. And then I would say just two things. I think 1 2 minutes. So I think the collaboration between different scientists and society actors. This is one thing I would like to call this full research, not basic research, not applied research, but this might be full research. It's all integration of different researches. And second one is this one. So social wishes should be detected, should be discovered by scientists. That is important. This is one. There are many, many different things, but these two are most important items in order to develop this kind of loop system. So full research is something like that. So I call type 1 basic research. This is analysis type basic research. And type 2 basic research is synthesis type basic research. Unfortunately, the theories of scientific theories are very strong in this side, but unfortunately there are very few, not fruitful ones. So we must concentrate our effort. Basic researchers must concentrate more effort to develop this type 2 basic research, which deals with synthesis processes. And this is product realization. Maybe this is the knowledge use research. And this might be done by factories for the industry like that. So these different type of people should come together. We should not rely on the linear flow from here, the linear flow of information from this point to that point. We must, these people must come to the same laboratory, discuss every day, eat and drink every day, must become friends. They should not feel any difference of disciplines. Then good communication between these people will be established. And we have some experience in our laboratory, in Japanese laboratory. It was quite successful. If those people are forced to live together, they forget about the disciplines, that they can cooperate. So this is the main idea of the full research. And maybe I can say there are many type 1 basic research, type 2 basic research, and product realization research. And again, there are many kind of research topics within them. So some of those topics can be integrated into this kind of integrated platform. And by this, I would like to say, this is the full research, including basic research, applied research, and product realization, and not only separately, but they must be integrated as a unity. So that is a full research. So full research is possible through our experience in Japan. I think we can make some kind of proof that it is possible. And finally, I would like to say, this is a very complicated thing, so I have not much time to explain exactly, but issues, this one, to be studied and solved scientifically are not only apparently defined in society. This is the motivation of research. What is the motivation of research? Subject of research. But also floating dimly among people, and even absolutely invisible for people, and even for scientists. Therefore, they must be discovered. Social wish must be discovered. There is one example, that's global warming. There are many scientists who found the fact that the Earth is being warmed, but no scientists or no policy makers, not people in society were interested in that fact. But some years, maybe 50, 40 years after, it was picked up. The idea of the global warming was picked up by the United Nations. Then it became a very big subject among nations, and now they have some protocols, and they have some kind of international regulation between them. So I think it is now possible. Now, suppressing the global warming is a very common social wish among all countries. But 50 years ago, it was just some kind of floating wish. So it is necessary for some scientists to discover what is the real social wish, which is necessary to be solved in the future. So that is, but unfortunately, there's not such kind of scientists at this moment. So we must encourage scientists to become those people who wish to find out the social wishes. So then, this is the final one. So we may have such kind of knowledge system, not only the accumulation of scientific papers, but maybe it is necessary to have some kind of a database, which is I would like to panoramic database of full research. So there are many full research here, and there are panoramic or bird's eye view database of social wishes, and this is database. So if we have two databases, we can find the good connection between them. I would like to say this is some sort of encounter of these things. If we find this is a good encounter, then this loop can be accelerated to develop better and better sustainability. So I think this is just a very simple explanation of what I'm thinking about now. But finally, I would like to say something. So global warming, and I would like to stress that. Global warming and Fukushima, they are both due to lack of knowledge, I would like to say. So even though we have plenty of scientific knowledge, still we could not forecast the occurrence of change of weather, global warming, or accidental plants. So they were out of scope in scientific research, in normal science. I would like to stress that scientists together with industry or society general public must try to create good knowledge to realize the sustainability on the Earth. And if this sustainability science concept is useful, I'm very glad. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay.